Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
How many injuries does it take before fans start asking if the WNBA is sabotaging its own stars? Because right now, what's happening to the Indiana Fever doesn't look like bad luck. It looks like a slow-motion demolition of the league's most valuable team.
Heading back to the locker room, this is the play that just occurred.
It's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls in.
The one franchise that's carried women's basketball into the mainstream. From suspicious injuries to questionable officiating to the league's own silence. This isn't just a story about basketball anymore. It's about whether the WNBA is protecting its biggest stars or quietly trying to bring them down. It started with a play that looked routine, until it wasn't. Bria Hartley drove into the lane, Sophie Cunningham slid over, and in a split second, Hartley went down hard on Sophie's leg. The collision crushed straight into her knee, and Sophie immediately reached for her patella in visible pain.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
The crowd froze. At first glance, it looked like just another accidental fall, but as Sophie stayed down, grimacing, clutching her knee, the atmosphere changed. Fans online replayed the clip frame by frame. Sophie's sister Lindsay and her mom Paula started firing shots at the WNBA itself, accusing the league of failing to protect players. This wasn't just another injury, this was a flashpoint, a single moment that captured everything fans had been whispering for months. The Fever weren't just unlucky, they were being targeted. Because Sophie's injury wasn't an isolated case. It was the latest in a devastating pattern. Caitlain Clark, the most famous player in the league, missed 19 of Indiana's 32 games with recurring groin and quad injuries. Every time she tried to come back, something mysteriously went wrong. Ari McDonald, out for the season with a fractured foot. Sydney Colson, torn ACL, gone. And now Sophie Cunningham, the enforcer, taken down in broad daylight. 4 major players, 4 separate injuries, all on the same team. For most franchises, losing even one starter derails the season. The Fever? They've lost nearly half their core lineup. That's not just improbable, it borders on impossible. And yet, the WNBA continues to shrug it off as if this is just normal. But if it's normal, why does it keep happening to the same team? What makes these injuries even harder to swallow is the timing. Caitlain Clark has one of her best games of the year, dropping 32 points against the defending champion Liberty. The very next game, she's out again with another groin issue. Sophie Cunningham calls out referees for letting opponents play dangerously. Suddenly, she's the one lying on the floor in agony after a reckless fall. And instead of addressing the officiating, the league fines Sophie, not once, not twice, 4 times this season for criticizing referees. Meanwhile, those same referees allow star players to get hammered with no consequences. The message feels clear: stay quiet or get punished. But Sophie's family wasn't quiet, and that's where things really exploded. When Sophie Cunningham went down, her family didn't hold back. Her sister Lindsay went public, calling the WNBA pathetic for protecting officials instead of players. Her mom Paula echoed the same outrage, blasting Bria Hartley as reckless and accusing the league of failing its athletes. Fans rushed in behind them. Hashtags calling for accountability trended within hours. GoFundMe campaigns to cover Sophie's fines hit their goals almost instantly. Even neutral commentators couldn't ignore what was happening. The league's own silence was fueling the anger. But instead of listening, the WNBA doubled down. More fines, more penalties for speaking out. And that's when people stopped seeing this as coincidence and started seeing it as conspiracy. Think about it. The Indiana Fever, led by Caitlain Clark, became the most talked about team in WNBA history. Every game was sold out, every highlight went viral. They weren't just winning games, they were rewriting the league's future. But that success came at a cost. The more the Fever shined, the more casual fans realized just how far they were from the rest of the league. Blowout wins, superstar moments, highlight reels that made other teams look junior varsity. So, what's the easiest way to level the playing field? Make sure the Fever can't actually stay healthy enough to dominate. And suddenly, the injury list looks a lot less like bad luck and a lot more like a strategy. Playoff odds don't lie. Indiana dropped from over 99% to just 87% in a matter of weeks. Their championship window, once wide open, is closing fast. And every time a player gets hurt, that window shrinks even more. Why would the WNBA risk sabotaging their own stars? Simple: control. If one team, one player, one franchise becomes too powerful, the rest of the league looks irrelevant. And if the Fever kept steamrolling everyone, casual fans might stop caring about any other team. By weakening Indiana, the league spreads attention around, keeps parity alive, prevents Clark and her teammates from exposing the massive gap between them and the rest of the league. But in chasing control, the WNBA may be destroying its golden goose, because the fans aren't buying it anymore. When Sophie Cunningham got fined for a TikTok mocking referee incompetence, donations poured in to cover her costs. When she called out officiating again, support only grew stronger. Social media exploded with clips of missed calls, cheap shots, and reckless fouls against the Fever. Former Iowa coach Lisa Bluter said it plainly: what's happening to Clark goes far beyond normal physicality. Even USA Today's Kristen Brennan ripped the WNBA for failing to rise to the occasion when the world was finally watching. Instead of silencing the criticism, the league amplified it. And now fans are openly asking if the Fever are victims of a system designed to keep them from winning. At the start of the season, experts said Indiana had championship DNA. Vegas oddsmakers put them right behind the Liberty and AFIS as favorites. Even Cheryl Swoops, one of Clark's harshest critics, predicted the Fever could win it all. Now, their roster is in shambles. Their best players are sidelined. Their playoff chances are slipping away. Coincidence? Or something much darker? If this were just bad luck, fans might accept it. But after watching star after star go down, while the league punishes anyone who dares to speak up, the question becomes unavoidable. Is the WNBA destroying its own future? Because if this continues, the biggest phenomenon in women's basketball history might not just fade away, it might be systematically erased before it ever reaches its peak.